So you've probably heard of this already, but just in case you haven't, Infowars and Alex Jones were banned from Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, all these other major online platforms, but not Twitter. That's one of them. Surprisingly, of all people, Twitter did not ban them, which, I mean, I commend Twitter for, but this is just one good thing they've done in a mess of other horrible things in terms of censorship. Now, oddly enough, from what it seems that I can't tell if banning Alex Jones has been a good thing or a bad thing, because by banning him, they've drawn so much attention to him. It's basically just the Streisand effect of whenever you try to hide something, it become people will start looking at that and saying, "What are you trying to hide? I should really look into this." And Alex Jones is now claiming 5.6 million newsletter subscribers since this has happened. Now, Alex Jones is definitely very hyperbolic, so who knows if 5.6 million is actually half a million? I have no idea. Because he is very hyperbolic in the sense of when he says this video got 100 million views, 200 million views. So who knows what that actual number is, but he's definitely getting a lot of attention and a lot of positive. A lot of people are subscribing to him on through the newsletters and through the website and all that. So I really can't tell if this is backfire or not, but you would think that after this, people would stop, the online tech platforms would stop with the banning, especially stop with the reckless banning, because I genuinely can't tell if it's just bad coding or if they're doing it on purpose. Because that's the thing you realize with a platform as complex as this, it could just be bad coding, and I want to give people the benefit of the doubt usually that it's just bad coding. But as this goes on, it's this seems to be less and less like bad coding and more deliberate. So if you haven't heard recently, H3H3, they were live streaming their podcast. They were talking about Alex Jones, and then just partway through, it was just shut down. The live stream was just shut down midstream, and they were given a strike, as you can see right here on this one. They were given a strike that disabled their ability to live stream. I've never heard of that happening before. It could happen a lot. So again, as I say things, there's a lot of stuff that it could have happened before, and I just never heard about it. So if it has, of course, post a comment below. Let me know in the comment. Let anyone that watches this know that other things like this are happening, and to clarify, because of course I can't know about everything. So yeah, if you know about something else, post a comment. But halfway through the stream, just shut down like that for talking about Alex Jones. So either it's bad coding, or it was done deliberately, and either way, it's not good. Because for one, it's why was this in the code that as soon as they brought up Alex Jones, they were shut down? So, I because this has happened so rarely, I can't think this was just bad coding. Part of me thinks this was deliberate, but if it was deliberate, they had to have understand that this was bad. They had to understand that this would backfire on them. So I really don't get it. But he posted, our ability to live stream the H3 podcast has been revoked, so we'll have to continue filming it offline and upload it later. Nice one. That's not good. That's awful. And then they did retweet later. Team YouTube replied, "Hi Ethan, our team looked into this and determined the live stream was taken down incorrectly. The strike has been removed. Our apologies and thank you for your patience." So again, obviously, there's no way to tell here. There's no way to tell if YouTube realized this was backfiring on them and changed it, or if this legitimately was bad coding and they changed it. But either way, this is something that shouldn't be happening. Now, it looks like YouTube responded to this about an hour, or actually, 2 hours after this happened. So they were actually surprisingly quick on it. But that's not this is something that should not be happening, and I can't keep giving YouTube and all these sites the benefit of the doubt, especially after what happened with Alex Jones. That was not just that was not the third strike because they did something awful and they broke the terms of service. We don't even know why they were suddenly banned. And of course, LinkedIn banned them, something like that. Why would how is he violating the terms of service of LinkedIn? Something like that. So that's absolutely ridiculous. But it just keeps happening. So I don't know if you were aware that because everyone was caught up in Alex Jones, it wasn't just Alex Jones. Of course, actually, Alex Jones wasn't banned on Twitter, but during that day, Twitter suspended a few other people. And the odd thing is, all of these people seem to be anti-war, so I have no idea if that has anything to do with it at all. It might just be pure coincidence. But I find that odd that during the day Alex Jones was suspended, They also suspended some libertarian figures, including the Ron Paul Institute director Daniel McAdams. So if you don't know, like, that's Daniel McAdams. He's the director, like, as I just said, the director of the Ron Paul Institute. He's the co-host of Ron Paul's show, and he was suspended. Now, Daniel McAdams, like, he can sometimes go off on people on Twitter, sometimes, but just like anyone does. Like, this is not, I can't think of anything he would say that would be worth banning. It's not like he holds radical views. Like, he's a libertarian. Advocating for violence and hate speech is literally the opposite of what he does. So, yeah, of course, he was suspended, I should say, not banned. These people were suspended, which is as ridiculous, almost as ridiculous, and it shouldn't be happening. But it's like, why were these people suspended? What caused these people to be suspended? Was it people mass flagging these accounts? Like, was it alt-right people? Was it far-left people? Was it Twitter deciding to suspend them? I don't know. But it wasn't just Daniel McAdams. It was Peter Van Buren. So, unfortunately, I don't know anything about Peter Van Buren, so I can't say why that would be. But Scott Horton, he hosts the Scott Horton Show. He's part of antiwar.com. That should give away, like, what he believes. And honestly, if you could sum up everything Scott Adams says into 3 words, it's war is bad. So I don't understand why this is something that, like, is it bannable? I don't understand why these people are being suspended. It's either bad code, in which case they should fix it immediately, or it's deliberate, which confuses me. Like, why? Like, these aren't right-wing figures. These are libertarians. They're advocating against war. They're advocating against state power and control. Like, I don't understand, unless it's direct political bias. And that's, like, we already know Twitter shadow bans people. Why go after these people? It's not just right-wing people, it's libertarian people, and as well left-wing people, from what I hear. Again, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that's left-wing that was banned from Twitter, that I should say is leftist, to correct, because there are, like, again, the classical liberal types that kind of, like, leftist, center-left, or not leftist, sorry, left-ish, center-left, that are being banned as well. But, again, like, I just don't follow the leftist circles, so I don't know who's being banned, but I'm told it's happening. So, again, like, let people know in the comments that this is happening to these people. Like, name some names of people that were banned that are leftists. Because, again, like, I'm told it happens, but I can't verify it because I don't know any of them. So, if it is happening, let me know. But at the moment, I'll just have to assume that it's because of politics. And it seems to be happening, at least when it comes to Twitter bans, more to the right than to the left. And we've seen this happen with Tommy Robinson. We've seen this happen with Milo Yiannopoulos. And as far as we know, we can't figure out why it's happening. Because the weird thing is, like, I was about to say roaming millennial. Millennial Woes still has an account. Richard Spencer still has an account. A lot of white nationalists still have accounts. And that confuses me. Like, why? Although Richard Spencer actually used to be verified and is no longer verified, which is the stupidest thing ever. Because the purpose of verification isn't, like, whether you're a good person or not. It means you're an important person, or it means you're a significant person. It means you're a public figure, I should say. It means you're a public figure. And Richard Spencer is a public figure. And, of course, what happens when you take away the verification symbol? Well, all of these people that hated Richard Spencer started attacking people that also happened to be named Richard Spencer, but weren't Richard Spencer. So it's not so much for Richard Spencer's protection as much as it is for other people that might be confused as them. But, yeah, now this happened just recently, along with the H3H3 thing. Twitter suspended Proud Boys and Gavin McInnes accounts. Now, I've seen some people say they were suspended. I've seen other people saying they were banned. From what I can tell, suspended is temporary, banned is permanent. But from what it looks like, they were banned. And everyone's saying it's ahead of the Unite the Right rally, as far as I know. Unite the Right, last year it wasn't an alt-right rally, but it had a significant number of people from the alt-right part of that rally. That led to, of course, those were the people being morons and getting people killed and being prepared for a fight. So apparently they're doing another Unite the Right rally, and they banned Gavin McInnes and Proud Boys, which is weird because they're not alt-right. As far as I'm aware, they're not planning on attending this rally. If they were, correct me. But as far as I can tell, they weren't planning on attending this rally. But why would you ban them? Like, again, why would you ban Proud Boys and Gavin McInnes? Because I know in the past, this is something that causes a lot of, like, issues with the term alt-right, is 2 years ago, alt-right just meant you were right-wing, but you weren't. It literally meant alternative right. Like you were right wing, but you weren't a fan of like establishment Republicans. Like you're right wing, but you don't like John McCain, which is a significant number of like different ideological beliefs. Like you could fit libertarians in there with the alt-right. So you had a lot of people back then, like even Paul Joseph Watson, I believe, said it. Like they said back then, I'm part of the alt-right, because they were like, yes, I'm part of the right wing that doesn't like establishment Republicans. Basically, the alt-right were the capitalists, because I mean, we know that Republicans don't seem to be a fan of capitalism at all, with their excess spending and all that's going on with them. But that's what it meant back then. And now, of course, as soon as they started saying, oh, it means white nationalists, it means white supremacists, well, pretty much everyone that wasn't a white nationalist or white supremacist left the label. They abandoned the label and said, I'm not alt-right. Now, alt-right means white nationalist. And to the best of my knowledge, these people, the Proud Boys, are not alt-right. So, like Gavin McInnes, for example, I guess back a few years ago, I saw him saying, like, is he part of the alt-right? Isn't he? Well, he supposes he is, because again, that just meant what I just said it meant 2 years ago, and now he is not alt-right. See, the odd thing is, I don't understand why people are trying to tie this together. I don't know if they banned him because of the Unite the Right rally. I don't get it. I don't understand. But why are you banning these people? These people were not extremists. Meanwhile, there are extremists on the platform, and I wouldn't recommend banning extremists, but I just find it odd. Like, why is it that the people that hate the alt-right and the far left tend to be the ones getting banned? That's what I find rather interesting. Now, again, I'm sure there are plenty of alt-right people and far left people that were banned, but I'm not aware of them. So please post a comment. Like, if they were big enough, I thought I would have heard about them, but I haven't. So again, correct me where I'm wrong, and correct me where I don't know anything about it. Post a comment of naming some names. Of course, I just noticed this right now. This CBS News article I picked, get out of there, references the Southern Poverty Law Center that says the Proud Boys and their leaders regularly spout white nationalist memes and maintain affiliations with known extremists. Well, they don't regularly spout white nationalist memes. That's the thing. Like, the Proud Boys are not part of the alt-right. You can't trust the Southern Poverty Law Center, especially considering of that controversy with Quillette, where they had to take down and apologize over their claim that Majid Nawaz was somehow like an anti-Muslim extremist. But yeah, basically everyone's being banned. Everyone's being banned or suspended. Like Alex Jones, it happened to Alex Jones everywhere but Twitter. And of course now Twitter is suspending all these other accounts, and as we saw just with YouTube and H3H3. Like, why is this happening? And the thing is, if it's not politics, then like honestly, I don't get why they're doing it, because everyone's getting afraid. Like, oh, they're gonna stop. They're trying to ban people from like public forums like this, and I mean they are. But the thing is, it always seems to be backfiring on them. This doesn't seem to be helping them at all. It makes people look for alternative platforms. They could have been number one. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They won't always be number one. That's just a fact. Everything has its time. Everything will go away eventually. But they could be doing so much better. But now they're creating this market demand for alternative platforms. Now, that's the last thing I want to touch on here. This will be the last thing, I promise. I went through everything as far as I know. Again, leave a comment of some other examples of, no matter what their political beliefs, of other people being banned, like other public figures that you think was for political reasons. But the last thing is, I see a bunch of people saying, like, we have to get back on these platforms. This is outrageous. I say leave. Find alternative platforms and support them. There are so many out there that could be great, that are actually doing a good job. I mean, there are millions of social networking platforms out there that have like 6 users, but there are quite a few that actually have millions of users. And I highly recommend them, and you need to start using them. That's the thing. Like, everyone's always talking about regulating these companies. Just support the better platforms. That's so much easier. It's so much better. I just started using, if you can tell, I'm not using Chrome anymore. I'm using the Brave browser, and I love it. It's an alternative to Google Chrome. It blocks ads. So websites that I visit that I don't like for example, CNN, like I have to visit other sites to see what they're saying and to get like other views in that. But websites that I don't want my money getting, I can just use the ad blocker from Brave. And from the looks of it, they're implementing something that will allow me to see Brave ads, or basically I can send money to websites now using Brave. And I think that is awesome. I think that is incredible. Like right here, I don't know if you can see at the top right here, where you can't see my mouse, but you can see where the little window, it says click to enable this publisher for payment. So I can enable that, and I would start giving money to that publisher, my own money, of course, although it looks like they're implementing something where you can see Braves ads, and they'll pay you for basically viewing the ads. You'll get some of the ad revenue money. I have this one disabled, of course, because I don't want Twitter getting my money. But this is like something I just stumbled upon recently, and Brave is fantastic. I highly recommend it. BitChute.com. I don't know if you've used BitChute yet. Actually, I'll bring it up now. BitChute.com. It's a YouTube alternative, and it is great. Like it's actually not awful. That's the thing. There's some of these that I just like you struggle to use them. You want to support them, but they're just so bad that you're really struggling to use them and to adapt to them. But no, BitChute is great. I highly recommend it. BitChute is absolutely wonderful. And it's something that you have pretty much no excuse for not using it now if you're a content creator. Because what I do is I have it set up. I mean, I have a YouTube channel. You might be watching this on YouTube or BitChute, who knows? But yeah, basically, you can have it set to where I upload something to YouTube, and then within an hour, it's on BitChute. It automatically takes it from my YouTube channel. That is incredible. It's all automatic. You just have to set it up once. Why aren't people using this? Tell your favorite content creators, start uploading here. Create an account, upload some of your old stuff if you want, depending on the type of content, and then set it up to where it auto-uploads stuff from your YouTube. Then you just have to sit back. You don't have to look at it ever again. But it's there. It's at least creating an archive of your videos. It's at least introducing you to a greater audience. BitChute is something that could actually survive. It's doing pretty good. And then, of course, there's Minds, a Facebook competitor. I highly recommend it. There's Gab.ai. I'll bring up Minds here. Minds is fantastic. Like, it actually was, I didn't like it. It's too much to begin with, but it's fantastic. Of course, that's an ad at the beginning, of course. That's something. Don't let your kids use it. Like young kids use it. Because the top thing is always an ad. And that's where they get a lot of their money from. And just about everything can be posted there. Just like Twitter, actually. You know that anything can be posted on Twitter, basically. Like nudity can. I mean, except for controversial opinions. But that's where they get their money. I like it. Gab, same thing. That's all that I can think of at the moment off the top of my head. But yeah, there's so many great ones out there. There's so many great sites, alternative sites you can use. DTube, Steam it. That's the thing. There's another one. That is a platform that runs on a blockchain. It is great. It's a little bit complicated to use. I'll concede that. But yeah, Steam it. Look it up. Steam it with 2 E's, not an E-A. STEEMIT. DTube, I believe it's just D.tube. That's Steam It's like YouTube competitor. It's great. But no, I highly recommend it. There are just so many sites you can use that there's pretty much no excuse now. There's so many alternatives you can use that there's no excuse now. Gab even has it set up to where you can post something on Gab. I don't know if it's called to Gab, but you can post something on Gab and also simultaneously post it to Twitter. That's what these sites are working on. They're working on integrating it to where it's not that big of a transition over to your old over to a new system. You can still use like Twitter by using Gab. It just auto tweets stuff over there as well. But anyway, there's so many things used. Like Brave and BitChute are the big two right now that I highly recommend. They're absolutely wonderful. Again, Minds, like you just saw, of course it blocked it because like it's probably nudity, so they have like a filter there, but still the first one's an ad. So as much as I love it, I can see that being a problem for mass adoption because anything can basically be an ad as long as it's not like, I guess, outright porn or like calls for violence or anything like that, anything illegal, obviously. But that's something that, although you can pay to disable ads, I pay for Minds Pro, but I don't disable the ads because I want to help Minds. But yeah, stuff like that. There's so much you can do that there is no excuse that you should be saying YouTube and Twitter and all that they have an unfair advantage. Obviously, they have an unfair. They kind of do have an unfair advantage because it seems that they're lobbying with government for special favors. But here's the thing: it's like it's not impossible to defeat them. Like they have an unfair advantage. Okay, so what? Like, beat them. We can beat them. You just have to use these alternative platforms. I mean, if you hate them, if you can't stand using them, then don't use them. But at least check them out. And of course, if you look in the description, there's a link to, like, I post all my social media there. Go through. I have links to BitChute, Minds, Gab, all of my accounts there. So go there, and you're one step away from creating a new account. Try it out. I think it's great. But that's what we have to do. Like, that's what we have to do. We have to start using the alternative accounts. And I hate seeing people. I know I've repeated this already, but, like, I hate seeing people say, like, oh, what we need, like, let's just stand back and say and complain until, like, advocate regulation for YouTube and that. It's like, why? Honestly, like, I just don't like the idea of, like, forcing YouTube to allow people onto their platform, because it's their platform. They can do whatever they want. And even if it's unfair, it's like, okay, I would rather promote and I would rather support a platform like BitChute that allows it to rise to the top and is committed to free speech. Then we've solved our problem. I would rather do that than constantly be like on YouTube for saying, like, YouTube, you have to support us. You have to allow us on your platform. You have to play fair. It's like, no, let's just replace YouTube. That sounds like a big thing. But with how many people I see that are mad about this, but half of these people haven't even heard of these websites. And I'm not blaming them, of course. I'm not blaming anyone, but half of these people haven't even heard of these sites. And the people that have heard of them don't really use them that much. And, like, they don't even take the time to check them out. It's like, just take the time to check it out. Take the time, commit yourself to use it for 3 days, something like that. Spend some time on it. If you hate it, then don't use it. Like Gab. When I first heard of Gab, I tried it. I hated it. It was awful. I stopped using it. A few months later, I came back, and they had really revamped their site. It was really good. And now I use Gab on occasion. But, yeah, that's it. Just use these like, you want to stop online censorship? You have to promote these platforms, because these are the ones. It's not that they respect free speech. It's that they are committed to free speech. That's the whole thing. These were created for free speech. Gab was created as a free speech alternative to Twitter. Minds was created as a free speech alternative to Facebook. BitChute, free speech alternative to YouTube. They're all free speech sites. The same thing with Steemit and DTube. But I highly recommend these. Take a second to check them out. Tell people about them, even if you don't like them that much. Even if you, like, as long as you're like, it's if you check it out and you're like, it's just not my thing, tell people about it. Like, at least spread the word so they're aware of it. They're aware it's an option. Because I see so many people that are mad, but nobody are using these platforms or even trying them. That's the solution right there. The alternatives exist. You just got to use them. But I know I kind of repeated myself like 9 or 10 times, but I really need to drive the point home that, like, because it's frustrating. It's really frustrating to see that, like, there is a solution right in front of us. We just have to use them. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, like, if you use these platforms, if you like them, don't like them, let me know. Like the video if you enjoy. If you have other alternatives, other alternative solutions, I think this is the best one. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. Because, I mean, if I'm wrong, like, if I'm wrong, I would love for someone to tell me. But, I mean, like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. It really helps me out. Subscribe to me on those other platforms. Go make a BitChute account. Subscribe to me there. Go make a Minds account. Subscribe to me there. That's your homework for the week, is to subscribe to me. Is that petty or what? But no, yeah, try out for real. Try out these accounts. They're great. Yeah, thanks for watching.